Hey guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Penny.
And we are the Oyster Boys. And today we are going to be trying a bottle of
How do you go on? Can you pronounce it?
I would have said Weihenstephaner.
Okay.
But that's completely wrong, isn't it?
It is. Weihenstephaner.
Weihenstephaner.
So
today we're going to be trying a bottle of Weihenstephaner, which we picked up from Sainsbury's. So
it's my fault. We always support the local brewery, but this is one of my favourites. I am always on the wheat train, and this is, for me, it's my go-to.
Oh, okay.
Commercial beer, maybe, yeah, okay, but this is what I go to. So I thought, well, we're sticking with Bavarian beers, why not pick my favourite wheat beer?
Yeah.
So that's why we've gone for it. So, as most Bavarian beers, start off in a monastery, but it's actually state-owned now.
All the drunk monks again.
But hey, state-owned beer. Imagine if in the UK we had, if they had a state-owned beer,
Boris
like
beer.
a beer,
Boris
beer, a state-owned brewery. I mean, and especially one that's your favourite as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's phenomenal. I mean, and according to them, the world's oldest brewery. So,
how old are we talking here? When do these?
Right.
1040.
1040. So I've had a look into it. And I'm like, and a lot of them, how do they find out how old the beers are when they're going past like 300, 400 years? So apparently in the 1950s and before that, it was widely agreed that the brewery was 1146.
Okay.
So still quite old.
Yes, that's still fairly old, older than me.
But the first bishop of Freising, Otto I, was basically, he had a document that was allowing them brewing rights, and it was dated 1040.
Wow.
So it's contested whether the document is fake or if it's real, but Weihenstephaner said, yeah, that's real. We're 1040. We're the oldest brewery.
So in 20 years, they're going to be celebrating their 1,000-year
Yes.
anniversary as a brewery. That's that's crazy. That's absolutely mad.
I can't even think of another company, never mind a beer company, that's nearly 1,000 years old. But Hefeweizen, so Hef references the wheat,
Yep.
Weizen, wheat beer, white beer, as the Germans know it. Becoming to be super popular in Bavaria, it nearly dropped out. And basically what happened is they obviously had the German purity law,
Yeah.
which means they can only use certain ingredients, and they had to be...
Just four ingredients, isn't it?
It's four ingredients, yeah. Originally 3, because the yeast they obviously didn't know about, and I think it was 15, 16 when it come about. So obviously it's your malt, and your hops and water,
yeah.
and then they probably had a magic spoon or something like that, which
the old wooden spoon, a magic spoon,
yeah, something like that. So originally, when they were using the barley, wheat wasn't allowed, and it wasn't allowed because during times of, let's say, famine, wheat was predominantly used for bread, and it couldn't be used up for beer. But like myself, maybe I've got a bit of royalty in me. The Bavarian royal family loved wheat beer.
Yeah.
And what they did was they used to grant specific breweries the license to brew wheat beers. I mean, in the UK, I think it was 1697 to 1880, nearly 200 years.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to use wheat or rye to make beer.
Wow.
So yeah, and maybe that's why we don't have many wheat beers. Maybe that's where we more think. You know, we just don't know. But you know, that at the end of the day, that's the fact. But Bavaria, I mean, wheat beers nearly died out. I mean, especially after like the World War I.
That would have been a shame.
Yeah,
it really would have been a shame.
For me, it would have been a shame. But
well, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
No, but Weihenstephaner, lots of awards. 2016 won the World Beer Cup for a South German style Hefeweizen.
The World Beer Cup?
Yeah, I know.
Is that a sport?
Hey, it's a sport. These guys are good at it. So yeah, I can't wait. You're
so excited about this, aren't you?
It really is one of my favourites. So okay.
Shall we open it up?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, obviously percentage 5.4, and it's got the classic, you know, the EU what's it called? The geographical.
Oh yeah,
states.
this says it's from Germany. It must be from Germany.
Yes, we trust them. We trust them. So yes, I think we should.
So this brewery is older than the Bavarian purity law.
Yeah, by nearly
500 years.
500 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's probably their idea.
Yeah, I mean, the purity law obviously was to make sure people weren't using like barcode and things like that, and they were actually using soot to preserve the beers. So it's to make sure they didn't do things like that, but it was also a taxation as well. They could only sell it at a certain price. So you have, like, for the UK, what we used to do is we used to tax people on the strength of the beer.
Yep.
Belgium, it was due to the mash tun, how big the mash tun was. So that's why you end up getting your quads, your doubles, because they crammed a lot more in, a lot more labour intensive, got them out, but pay less tax. Germany, it was to do with the purity law.
Wow.
And that's where it sort of started. It wasn't just about being pure ingredients; it was a taxation.
Pearls of wisdom there. Pearls of wisdom from the oyster boy.
So let's crack this bad boy open. So obviously we should be expecting a lot of proteins. It should be super cloudy.
Yeah.
Big head.
Cloudy big head, just like me. I mean, straight away, exactly like you thought. I mean, as we've said with the wheat beers, they're fizzy. They are so carbonated.
Yes.
Really, really crammed in. I mean, look at that. It's light orange, golden, amber. Can't really see through it. Thick white head, and it looks. I mean, it's solid wheat action.
It's really golden tangerine-y, isn't it? You really cannot see anything through it.
Nope.
Like you expect, big head.
It's perfect wheat beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's exactly what you want from a wheat, and it looks great. I had a cheeky little sniff there before, but I shouldn't have done that. I'm getting ahead of myself here, and that's only going to get even murkier when we do a little swirl and pour the rest in.
The wheat beer, but I mean, colour for me, spot on, and the cloudiness, the haze.
For me, it's a solid 9 out of 10. When you look at the style guidelines and what wheat beer is, that is exactly what you want it to be. So
again, same. It'd be 9 for me. I mean, it's my favourite. So,
and if we go in with a note,
banana.
Yeah, straight away.
Banana. It's just
banana, clove.
Now they've used Marisotto, would you say, in that or something? It's bready, banana-y.
Yeah, well, I mean, Marisotto or pale malt is beer, basically. And even dark beers are made of pale malt with a bit of dark malt in on top, aren't they?
Yeah.
Whereas, I'd be shocked if it's all wheat, but it'd be horrific. You'd never be able to sparge it.
But it's just buttery, cloviness, banana, peppery.
Yeah.
And for what...
it smells thick. It smells thick. That's how I describe that.
And wheat beers are not, it's all from the yeast. Isn't it? It's not from the hops where they're getting this sort of smell from. So it's, that.
It smells in
banana is.
Yeah, it's. Is one of you 5 a day?
Mate, as a lover, I'm gonna be biased, but for me, it's an 8 out of 10. It's a solid 8.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go as well.
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
For pure, to get that sort of smell from yeast is great. It's great. So
I'm just going to pour a bit of this in so we can get a proper taste. You're not getting a real taste of the wheat beer unless you've got the a bit of the yeast in there with it. But let's dive in, give it a taste, and see what we think anyway. Yeah. I mean, if I went out and I bought a banana milkshake. That's the flavour I would expect from that. Yeah. It is so strong up front there.
So sweet as well, isn't it?
And for a beer that's so highly carbonated, it's so smooth going down.
Yeah, great mouthfeel.
Yeah, the mouthfeel's fantastic. It tastes so good. And a little bit sweet, but definitely banana, definitely clove. There's no like grassy or floral flavours or anything like that.
They've used 1,000 years wisely.
Yeah.
So they've had 1,000 years almost 1,000 years, 980 years to perfect that beer, and they've not wasted it.
No, and perfect it is exactly what they've done.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, that's probably, I'm coming from someone who, up until what, a month ago, didn't like wheat beers. Was it 3 weeks or a month ago?
Something like that, yeah.
And I rode that wheat train hard.
Yeah. Someone who loves wheat beers and will always go for a wheat beer every time I go in and see what wheat beers they've got. Yeah. It's one of my favourites, and
I'd have to give that 8.5 out of 10 for me. I mean, I would happily sit and drink that.
It's a 9 for me because it was one of my favourites. Biased, maybe. So.
How much does this cost? How much is the bottle? I mean, I'm hoping, because you said you got it from Sainsbury's, I'm hoping that the price is pretty good.
Do you want to know the price?
Well, I need to know the price.
How about, can you guess it for me? Can you guess the price? Judging from other beers you've had.
Judging from the other beers that we've had, I don't want this to be more than £3.20 in a supermarket.
£1.85.
Holy heck! Wow, that's
£1.85 for 5. Yep.
To get this £1.85. I've been doing cartwheels down the street. Honestly. So this is like some of the.
This is why I have about 10 a week.
Some of the other beers that we've tried, you look at them and you get a bottle this size and it costs you, 4 or 5 quid and there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
This has got loads going on and it is so reasonable.
Yeah, and it's not overly commercialised because I think it's not. It doesn't fall into the top 10 breweries that export.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So it's yeah.
That's got to be a 9 out of 10 on price for me.
Yeah, same because it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And biased, this is my to-go beer.
So sessionability has got to be high.
Okay, so it's 9 for me. It really is 9 because I could drink that all day. Yeah. Even in the rain, summer, winter, autumn, I could drink it all day.
I mean, I probably wouldn't go as hard as that because for me, I would have this. That banana-y flavour, that slight sweetness would probably get a bit too much for me after, say, I don't know, say 5. I reckon 5 of these.
That's still good.
Still
for a wheat beer. For someone that doesn't regularly drink wheat beer, and for me, who loves wheat beer, 5 is...
Yeah, 5. So yeah, I would give that a 5 on sessionability.
Well, that's... He's race to the top, isn't he? So...
Should we go and crunch the numbers?
I think so. We'll crunch numbers and give you the scores. You know it's going to score high.
Okay guys, the scores are back in and pronounce it for me please.
Weihenstephaner.
The Weihenstephaner has an oyster score of 83 points.
I feel I've converted you to
mate, this is a king of beers, this one. This is an absolute top one. So I'd like to say thank you Penny for joining me on this one, for showing me this stellar beer.
Oysters out.
Oysters out. Right, I'm going to go for a piss and I'm going to eat that pizza.